Hello, and welcome to the Concern Debates Adjudicator Information Session 2025-2026. Today, we are going to run through the information on the Concern Debates team, news, updates, introduction to Concern Worldwide and the debates program, the structure of the debates program, a number of changes that are coming into this year, marking a debate, how to do it, where to look out for information, where to find info, safeguarding and Garda vetting, and all the news on the new Garda vetting system for Republic of Ireland volunteers and the access and eye checks, and also updates and information on the debates platform and questions and answers at the end of the session. I'd like to introduce you to our team. My name is Olga Berdescu-Kavanagh. I will be your host for today, and I would like to introduce you to our debates team. We have my colleague Maeve Mooney, who looks after schools in County Cork, Kerry, Limerick, Tipperary, Waterford, Wexford, Kilkenny and Carlow, and as well as the volunteers in those regions. We also have Amelia Deehan, who looks after the schools in Northern Ireland and also works on our primary debates programme in Northern Ireland too. We also have Owen Connolly, who looks after schools in Galway, Mayo, Sligo, Roscommon, Wicklow, Louth, Clare, County Leitrim, Offaly, Laois, Westmeath, Longford, Donegal, Cavan and Monaghan, just to name a few. Owen will also look after the volunteers that are in said regions. If you have the contact person as Owen Connolly or Maeve Mooney, but you are not based in those counties that are presented on the screen, don't worry. We are running a system where all the volunteers are equally distributed in terms of communication. So all of our colleagues will have the equal amount of volunteers to liaise with and work with for the year based on the number of schools we are looking after. And you have myself, and I will continue to look after the schools and the volunteers in Dublin, Meath and Kildare. I'd like to introduce you to Concern Worldwide and the work we do. Concern is a humanitarian organisation working towards the elimination of extreme poverty. We work across Africa, Asia, Europe and the Caribbean. And in 2024, Concern has reached over 27.3 million people in 27 countries. And this was done through a number of programs, through emergencies, livelihoods, gender equality programs, education, health and nutrition. And you can see the map of the countries that Concern works in. I won't run through all the countries, but this presentation will be recorded and you will receive the recording so you can look through the information there. You can also find information on the countries that Concern works in our annual reports that get published every year. And you can find the reports on the Concern Worldwide website. They're available to the public. They are open to anyone who would like to look through. Concern Debates Programme. So to get to the information about the Concern Debates Programme, the Global Citizenship Education is a lifelong learning process. This is what we feel and believe in Concern. The programme for Global Citizenship Education is based on the values of solidarity, equality, inclusion and cooperation. And what better way to get young people researching and discussing and questioning important global issues than through the good old debate. Debating also develops the skills of teamwork, research, critical thinking, public speaking, refutation and rebuttal. And you can see on the photo there the Concern Debates champions from Laurel Hill Secondary School FCJ in County Limerick. And they have come out victorious at the All-Ireland Debates final on the 1st of May. And Concern Debates Programme. So the programme is now in its 41st year. We celebrated our 40th anniversary at the 40th final on the 1st of May. And the Concern Debates programme has been running since 1984. Now, we have had over 20,000 debates that have been organised, and over 85,000 students took part in the debating programme over the years. Over 150 to 170 schools, post-primary schools, participate each year across the island of Ireland. This is the only all-Ireland debates programme. It's the only debating competition / programme that involves schools in Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland. Why do we call the Concern Debates programme a programme and not a Concern Debates competition? Even though there is a competitive element to the debates programme, the focus of the programme is on the research, awareness raising, and educational experience. And we want to emphasize this from the very beginning. Some of our schools or students will become more competitive than others, and this is absolutely encouraged and celebrated. However, the main focus of the debates program is the educational element, and it's for the students to learn something valuable, to learn critical skills like research, being able to decipher between false and true information out there, and being able to make up their mind on very complex issues by diving into the issues at hand through research and through critical thinking. Now, the Concern Debates program runs each year with the school year. So it's a program that runs with the academic year from September to May. Each year, we would have around 300 unique debates between participating schools, and that means 300 volunteer placements or volunteer adjudicators are needed to view and mark the debates online. In the league phase, we would ask the volunteers, we would ask one volunteer per debate, and if you are brand new to the debates program as an adjudicator, we have the adjudicator buddy system where we can pair you up with a more experienced volunteer and you can liaise with them. They can guide you, they can offer you tips and advice and guidance on how to mark the debate and what to look out for. So there's absolutely no pressure. If you have not expressed your wish or need to be paired up with someone more experienced at the interview stage on the phone or when you met one of our colleagues, for the Garda vetting purposes, don't worry, you can always drop us an email to debates@concern.net and request that. We have very experienced volunteers that have very kindly offered their experience or their guidance, and they've offered their support to brand new volunteers. So the program runs with the school year. The most intense part of the year is the league phase. It is made up of 3 rounds and it runs between October and December. We then have the top 64 schools at the end of December that will move into the knockout stages of the program into January and February. And you can see there that in January and February, it's still 3 rounds, but they're going to be a little bit more compressed between the 2 months. And we will have the top 64 schools based on results from the league phase move into the knockout stages. As the knockout stages progress, with each knockout stage debate, we will have less and less schools participating because the information is right there in the title. The knockout stage, schools will get knocked out as the knockout stages progress. So in knockout stage 1, we will have 64 schools. In knockout stage 2, we will have 32 schools. And in knockout stage 3, we will have 16 schools participating. The knockout stages will also remain online. However, we will ask 2 volunteers to judge the knockout stage debates remotely. It's to make sure that we offer more fairness to the students, because at that stage, the students would have had more experience to debate, and we want to offer them better chances of moving forward through the knockout stage. So we would ask 2 volunteers per debate at the knockout stage. Now, when we move into the quarterfinals from March onwards, we will move to face-to-face or in-person debates. We will organize venues, and depending on what schools remain in the program at that stage in March, April, we will be organizing the midway venues ourselves as close as possible to the schools that remain in the program. We cannot control or foresee what schools will be moving into the quarterfinal stage, so we cannot guarantee what locations those debates will take place up until February when we know who's moving into the quarterfinals. And we will do our very best to organize midway venues at equal distance between the 2 schools to make sure that no school is asked to travel more than the other. The in-person debates in the quarterfinal stages will run in the evening at 7 p.m. from 7 to 8 p.m. and we will have 3 volunteers on the panel at that stage. At the quarterfinal stages, we can invite brand new volunteers to act as volunteer observers, while the debates will be judged by very experienced volunteers at that stage. But we will be asking brand new volunteers to attend the quarterfinal debates as observers and get to be in that room when the debates are happening, taking place, and also be in the room with the volunteer panel and witness the magic happen. At the semi-final debates, they're going to take place in April, and they're going to take place in Dublin. So the semi-finals and the final are always taking place in Dublin to make it more special for the schools participating. After December, as I mentioned, only the top 64 schools will progress forward into the knockout stages, and 2 volunteers will be on the panel for each knockout debate. The All-Ireland Debates final is already booked for the 7th of May 2026 in the Helix in DCU in Dublin. Now, when it comes to the in-person or face-to-face debates, you can see the schedule there. The quarterfinals will take place on the 19th, the 25th, between the 19th and the 25th of March. The semi-finals will take place on the 15th of April in Dublin. The final will take place on the 7th of May in the Helix in Dublin 9. And at the quarterfinal stages and the semi-final stages, we will have 3 volunteers per panel, while at the All-Ireland Debates final, we will have 5 volunteers on the panel. Now you can see the structure there, just a little bit of a visual there. We have the league phase and the knockout stages, then the quarterfinals, the semi-finals, and the final. What are the skills needed to be a good volunteer adjudicator? Be a good listener. Read the Concern Debates Adjudicator materials, refer to the presentation, ask us anything that is not clear or that you are not 100% sure about. Be able to see both sides of an argument and keep an open mind. Evaluate the argument according to the marking sheet, and don't allow your mini biases to come into play there when you're making the decision. Be able to offer written and verbal feedback, including constructive criticism in an encouraging and kind manner. We ask our volunteers to use the sandwich approach and mention the positives, what the debates team have done well, what the debates team need to do better next time, or maybe what are the areas where the debates team need to work or improve on. And we ask our volunteers to never single out any student and offer the feedback in a team or a unit manner, and offer the feedback to the debates team as a whole rather than to individual speakers. We also ask our volunteers to be timely and reliable. And if your schedule, or if you have kindly agreed to adjudicate a debate and then your schedule plans or something comes in and you're not able to watch that debate within those 5 working days or 1 full week and send us the feedback within that time frame, please just drop us a message on our debates mobile. We will offer those at the end of the presentation, and you will have that in any of our correspondence. Or even drop us an email and let us know that your plans have changed so we can allocate that debate to a new volunteer. We ask our volunteers to liaise with us regarding Garda vetting and access and eye checks, and understand that the Concern Debates programme is not a public speaking competition, and we focus on knowledge as opposed to the public speaking element. We ask that our volunteers have access to the intranet, as you will be asked to watch the debates and stream them online from our debates platform. You can stream the debate on your mobile phone, on your tablet, on your PC, or on your laptop. The debates platform offers you to view the debate on any electronic device that is able to stream videos. Now, the schools, how will the debates run? The schools will run the debates live on a video conferencing platform such as Zoom, Microsoft Teams, or Google Meets. These debates will be recorded by the proposing schools unless otherwise agreed between the teachers. These debates will then be uploaded to the debates online platform. We will run through the information on how to register or how to log on to the debates platform for our existing volunteers later on the call. The Concern Debates team will then email the volunteer adjudicators to check your availability and ask you if you're available to watch a debate within a certain time frame. 1 volunteer will be asked to mark each debate online in the time frame of 5 working days or a full week. We ask that you fill in the marking sheet and feedback form with comments and feedback and constructive criticism for the debaters, because that's the feedback that they will be able to learn from and get better with each upcoming debate. We ask that you fill in as many comments as you can on the feedback sheet. And if you're not 100% sure what you'd like to write, just think about it this way. They will receive those feedback sheets from us. We will relay those feedback sheets to the teachers, and the teachers then, along with the debating team, will be able to use those feedback comments and improve with their upcoming debates and get better at debating. So the only way they will learn of what they missed out on and what they lost points on in certain debates is based on your feedback and feedback alone. because you're not physically present with them in the classroom to offer them feedback. We ask that when you agree to adjudicate a debate, we will email you the information. We will inform you about the name of the proposing school, the name of the opposing school, the motion, and we will send you all the details that you require alongside the marking sheet, the feedback form, and any details that you need to be aware of. And we will also inform you if the video is split into 2 segments on the debates platform, so you can watch both segments that will be allocated or assigned to your name. And then once you get that information, you log on to the debates platform and watch the debate from there. You then fill out the debates feedback sheet and marking sheet. They're fully editable online, or if you prefer to fill them out by hand and have access to a printer, you can print them out, fill them out by hand, and then send them in the post to us. However, the post might take a few days, so we also ask you to take a screenshot or a picture of them, the feedback sheet and the marking form, and send them to us via email. So this way, the results will get back to us faster. Once we receive the feedback form and the marking sheet from you with the verdict, we will relay that information to the teams and offer them all the comments and feedback you have offered. Now, what is the structure of the debating team, and what are you going to see on that debate goal when you're watching a debate? So the debating students, the roles, the structure of the team is as follows. You have 4 debating team members on each team. Some schools will have 16 to 20 students taking part in the debates. However, on the screen at any given time, you will only see 4 debating team members. The teams are made up of the captain and then 3 speakers. The captains have a little bit more pressure on them as they speak twice. They speak at the start of the debate to open the debate. So the debate itself will always begin with the captain of the proposing team opening the floor or opening the debate and introducing their team members, introducing what their team is going to be talking about in details and in depth, and then also introducing their own arguments and focusing on their own 2 or 3 pieces of arguments as part of their own speech. The speeches are 4.5 minutes in length, or better said, they should not go above 4.5 minutes in length. And we also encourage students to not underspeak too much, because you cannot mark a speech that is 2 minutes long with a speech that is 4.5 minutes long at the same level. Simply because the 4.5 minute speech will contain more information, more details, more research, more work put in. Now, then you have the speaker 2. The speaker 2 will provide their own points of arguments and then will offer rebuttals and refutations based on what the other team has said. You have then speaker 3, speaker 4, and then the captain at the end speaks again. So as I mentioned at the start, the captains speak twice. The captain of the proposing team will open the debate, and then it will go as such. Captain of the proposing team, captain of the opposing team, speaker number 2 from the proposing team, speaker number 2 from the opposing team, speaker number 3 from the proposing team, speaker number 3 from the opposing team, then speaker number 4 from the proposing team, followed by speaker number 4 from the opposing team. Then after the 4th speaker of the opposing team has offered their speech, their captain then summarizes everything that has been said, and in their closing speech, the captains have room or space to get marked on rebuttal and refutations. So we don't encourage the captains of the teams to open the debate with rebuttals and refutation. And this specifically goes to the captain of the opposition team that sometimes feel that if they offer counter arguments or rebuttals and refutations as part of their opening speech, this will be, will be a way of them getting higher marks for rebuttal and refutation. However, when you're going to look at the marking sheet, you will see that the captains don't actually have space to be marked on counter argument or the rebuttal and refutation until their closing speech, because otherwise the captain of the opposing team will have more room or will have more space to offer rebuttals and refutations, as they are actually responding to something that has already been said, while the captain of the proposing team has opened the debate and nobody has spoken before them. So the captain of the teams will speak at the end, will rehash everything that was said by their team, offer counter arguments, rebuttals, refutations, and then close the debate. And then the captain of the proposing team finalizes the debate by speaking last. And what is the marking of the debate at home? So you watch the debate on the debates platform, mark the debate using the marking sheet and Adjudicator feedback and the result form. The electronic version of the marking sheet can also be edited online, as I mentioned before, and we will always send or attach these to the email when we assign or send you the information about the debate you're about to watch. If we failed to attach the marking sheet and the feedback form, fear not. These documents are also easily available to download from our website. If you go to Concern Worldwide, concern.net, you then go to the schools segment and then you go to post-primary debates and into the Adjudicator subsection of the website. You will then find all the downloadable documents for the debates program for our volunteers. We then ask that you don't mark higher the schools with higher video production or video quality. They might have a better setup, they might have a podium, they might all wear the school uniform or blazers with their crests, or they might have pop-ups in the background. We ask that our volunteers simply don't look at these debates as a high video production or that the schools have put on a beautiful debate, beautifully set up in video format, while other schools might attend that debate from a teeny tiny classroom, maybe not with the best setup, maybe not, using a tablet, using even potentially a mobile phone, and the video production quality is not the best. We ask you to ignore that and simply mark based on what the teams are offering as part of their speeches. You need to look at their research, you need to look at their debating skills, you need to look at how beautifully and eloquently they offer that information, and if they have knowledge on the motion that they are presenting on. We ask that you send us the marking sheet and feedback form by email within a number of days after your debate has been assigned to you. So you have 7 days to watch the debate and send us the feedback and the marking sheet via email. If you prefer to send it via post, please do so as well. However, do take a picture of those marking sheets and feedback forms and email it to us so we can relay that feedback faster to the schools. The students will be very, very eager to get their results the minute their debates mentor has uploaded that debates to the platform. So they're very eager to get the results as soon as possible. If you have any issues with accessing the debates video, please drop us an email and let us know. Occasionally, and this happens on occasion, the debates platform might have a glitch or there might be a technical issue with the debate being visible to the volunteer. So if you're encountering any issues, don't assume that it's something you're doing wrong. Just assume that there is a glitch on the system and you need to let us know about it, and we will fix it as soon as possible the minute we're informed. Now, this is the marking sheet. And how do you understand the marking sheet? For our returning volunteers that are watching this recording, I know this is a repeat or a rehash. Look at it this way. The marking sheet is split down through half the page in the middle from top to bottom of the page. And how do you know where to mark and who to mark? So you can see that the page is split in half. You have on the left-hand side, as you're looking at it, the proposing team little windows, and then you have on the right hand side of the page you have the opposing team little windows. So you are looking at content, you are looking at in the content, you're looking at knowledge and understanding of the subject, relevance to the motion, use a variety of sources, and those sources have to be reputable. They cannot be the journal.ie. They need to be from reputable sources, websites, official statistics and information. If they offered you the best piece of information, the best statistic, and they quoted something amazing, but they didn't quote where they got that information from and its original source, you cannot mark them on use a variety of sources because they actually didn't quote where that source was. Now, when it comes to Section A is for content, Section B is for debating skills. And as you can see there are two little blacked out dots or squares, and those are for the captain's opening speeches because the captains don't get marked on refutation and rebuttal as part of their opening speech. And instead they have, that space to be marked on refutation and rebuttal in Section C for captain's duties. So in the debating skills, you're specifically marking debaters on refutation and rebuttal, the art of a debate, the counter argument. You're also marking them on the ability to persuade, communicate and engage. And this again goes to a teeny tiny element of the debating program is about the ability to persuade, communicate, and engage. And how do they do that? By looking at the screen, by engaging with their virtual audience, by not simply reading their speech from a piece of paper or their cue cards and not looking up at the screen once throughout those 4.5 minutes. If they haven't looked up at the screen one time through 4.5 minutes of presenting their speech, you simply cannot offer them the highest of marks for the ability to persuade, communicate, and engage. In order for them to do that, they need to look up at the screen, they need to look up at the camera, they need to engage with that audience on the other side of that Zoom call, or with yourself, the volunteer who is going to be watching that debate. You're also marking them on how well and put together their arguments are. Are their arguments logical and well constructed? Or do their speeches have a beginning, a middle, and an end? Or is it just a combination of words that span 4.5 minutes in length? Now, in section C, we're moving on to the captain's duties, and you can see you're marking the captains for their opening speech, where they define the motion and respond to that definition. So sometimes the captain's definition to the motion or response to that definition will be exactly identical for both captains of the proposing team and opposing team. And then you're also marking them on how well they outline the team's arguments. And specifically, they get 5 marks on that. They need to tell you, as part of their opening speech, what each of their speakers is going to be focusing on. If they don't offer you that information in their opening speech, you cannot mark them on the outline of team's arguments segment. Then you're moving on to the closing speech, and in their closing speech, they need to provide you a summation of everything that their team members have spoken about in detail, and then they need to offer the counter arguments in their final speech. You also have 10 points to be awarded to the teams for teamwork, and specifically some debating teams will have a very visual, very visible system or style while they interact with one another on that video call. And specifically, as I mentioned a little bit earlier on the call, we ask that you don't mark higher the teams that have a better visual or video setup, because some teams will not have a setup allowing them for you to see the entire team in the background, and you will only see each speaker as they come along and they present at the podium while the team is behind the camera as such. If you feel, and this is where it gets a little bit tricky, so we ask our volunteers to be understanding of the restrictions that certain schools might have or be faced with when it comes to organizing those debates or those recordings. If you feel that there is a coherent link between the team members and they all know what their next speaker is going to be talking about, and there's a very audible connection between each speech, we ask that you mark them for display of teamwork during the debate, because you can clearly, audibly feel that they have worked together to put those arguments and put those speeches together as a team, as a unit. So you can mark them very, very peacefully for that D section teamwork. And of course, if it comes to the visible working and interacting throughout the team, throughout the debate, and you see them passing notes to one another, little post-its, those 4 team members are allowed to interact with one another throughout the debate, and more so, they are encouraged to do so. So you can also very peacefully mark them for the display of teamwork if you visibly see that on the video. And then there's also the time penalties to be awarded. So the time penalties will be announced at the end. If the schools forget to announce the time penalties during that recording, and instead they remember to mention the time penalties after they've stopped the recording, don't worry. We will always notify you if there are any time penalties that were not mentioned on the call recording. So you will then be able to deduct the time penalties from the overall marks. Now, this is the Adjudicator feedback and results form, and it's also easily downloadable from our website. It's also fully editable online or electronically, similar to the marking sheet, to make it easier for our volunteers if you prefer to fill them out electronically. And you can see there that the feedback sheet is split into the same segments as the marking sheet, section A, B, C, and D. And you can offer, as you go through the debate and you're watching it, we ask that maybe you pause the debate and relay your thoughts on the paper or on that feedback sheet to offer as many comments as possible to help those students learn from your comments and get better and not make the same mistakes in their upcoming debates. Or on the other side, continue to do what worked fantastic for them and what won them that particular debate. What to look out for. So I won't go through the details of this. You will receive the presentation in online, and you can watch this recording at a later date and you can pause it. And we basically offer a little guide in how to mark the debate and how to know how many marks to award. Some of our volunteers, me included, offer higher marks or, would be higher markers per se, and would offer higher marks traditionally, while other volunteer adjudicators are stricter with the marks. From the very beginning, and every volunteer will have their own style of marking the debate as far as you follow the structure and don't mark based on our little biases, because we all have them. It's totally fine. Some volunteers will mark stricter or will be stricter with their marks, while others will offer kinder or higher marks from the very beginning, and this is totally fine. So we offer a little guide on how many marks to award depending on what you're hearing. So if the team needs an improvement, if the team is good, if it's very good, if it's excellent, then of course it's high marks all along. It's 5s or 10s or 9s all along. If the team needs improvement, then it's, if you're marking from 1 to 5, then it's between 1 and 2. Or if you're marking between 1 and 10, then it's between 1 and 4. But absolutely develop your own style of marking the debate. Here we have a little new system on the scoring of the debate. Once again, we apologize to our returning volunteers for once again changing some of the structure and some of the marking systems. Every year we strive to improve the program based on feedback from our debates mentors and schools and students themselves, and we try to make it better for everyone participating and everyone involved. Well, you don't have to take note of this. Always remember, when you're sending us the marking sheet and the feedback form, we will look at the overall marks and we will assign how many points each team receives based on the marks on your marking sheet. So you don't actually have to remember how many points am I scoring each team based on the difference in the scores. So this year, a unanimous plus win is worth 6 points, and that's a win of 20 points or more in the difference on the marking sheet. A simple unanimous win is worth 5 points, and that's a win margin between 11 and 19 points. A majority win is worth 4 points, and that's a win of 10 points or less. A bye win or bye points is specifically not really a win, but as our volunteers might be familiar, and for new volunteers that are watching this, bye points are 3 points. This year they're going to be worth 3 points. And basically the bye points are offered to the teams whose opponents dropped out or forfeited that said debate without the opportunity to reschedule to a later date. So if, for example, you are Team A and Team B cancelled on that debate that you had scheduled or very challengingly agreed on a date, and then Team B cancelled on that debate due to unforeseen circumstances or something came up, or a team member got ill, or something else popped up, and there's no opportunity at all to reschedule that debate, Team A receives the bye points, while Team B receives nothing. So Team A will receive the bye points that are not technically a win, but it's a compensatory system to offer teams points if they were ready to debate and their opponents dropped out on them at a last minute, at a short notice. It's to make sure that no team is punished for their opponents dropping out or cancelling on a particular debate. A minority loss is going to be worth, instead of 1 point, it's going to be worth 2 points from this year, and it's a loss of 10 points or less. A unanimous loss is also going to be worth not 0 points as before, but 1 point. We simply don't want any teams to leave any debate without receiving even the tiniest of compensation for putting in that hard work and walking away from a debate. So a unanimous loss will be worth 1 point, and it will be a loss of more than 11 points in the difference on the marking sheet. Please note, You don't have to keep track of how many points you need to allocate. Once we receive the marking sheet, we will allocate and we will know which team receives how many points based on the difference in the marking sheet. Now, child safeguarding. So, child safeguarding at Concern is taken very seriously. This is about appropriately managing risks to ensure the safety and dignity of all participants. That includes students, volunteers, and anyone attending the debates. We want to keep our participants safe. This has always been at the heart of everything we do and at the core of all of our programs. So we prioritize protecting the interests, the needs and safety of children. So how do we do this? Our programs are well planned. We carefully consider motions and venues for in-person activities and debates, as well as seeking consent form for all the participants who take part in our events or programs and in the debates. All Concerned Debates volunteers are required to undergo Garda vetting. That's for Republic of Ireland volunteers. And as of 2025, as of summer 2025 specifically, this means that for us to process a Garda vetting application, or for us to even get to the stage of uploading the information to the Garda vetting portal, all Concern volunteer adjudicators will now need to meet with a concerned staff member to have their IDs validated and show proof of address. And for Northern Ireland volunteers, the access and eye checks will remain in place. It's something that a lot of volunteers in Northern Ireland would be familiar with, so there are no changes there. The debates adjudicators are required to strictly adhere to Concern's child safeguarding policy, and this can be found on our Concern website. If you go to concernworldwide.net, and you can, if you are lost on our website between all the tiles, you can simply type in the search bar safeguarding, and our safeguarding policy and safeguarding statement will be populated that way. The Concerned Debates adjudicators are required to treat children under the age of 18, as well as their teachers, debates mentors, parents, with respect and dignity, and to deliver the feedback from the debate in a constructive and positive manner, or in the sandwich approach, where we ask you to offer kind feedback to help them grow, to help them learn, rather than have their dreams or maybe ideas or thoughts crushed by reading that feedback. Even if you see a student, or you hear a student who maybe debating is not really their thing, if you offer them encouraging and constructive and kind feedback in such a manner that they learn from their mistakes, they can become the best debaters in the world. Now, child safeguarding do's and don'ts for online debates. We ask you to not share your login details for the debates platform or link with anyone that isn't a Concerned Debates adjudicator, or anyone at all. If another adjudicator at an event or at a workshop or at a debate is asking you, can you send me that link? Just forward them on, or ask them to reach out to us, and we will forward any information to anyone that is seeking it. Do not take photos or screenshots when adjudicating the online debates. Do not post photos or screenshots that you're not meant to take to social media. If you follow us on social media, you can always retweet or reshare anything that is on our pages already. Do ensure that all feedback delivered either in person or written form is appropriate and respectful. Don't single out any student, and always offer the feedback to the team as a unit. Do not attempt to contact the students or teachers through the school chat feature in case of a live Zoom debate. On occasion, some of our volunteers might be asked to attend a Zoom debate at the very latter stages in December, when we're running out of time and there's no 1 week to offer to a volunteer to adjudicate the debate from the comfort of their home. And some of our volunteers would have been asked over the last number of years to jump on a Zoom call, only based on your availability, of course. And we ask that if you drop off the call or the connection is bad, don't attempt to reach out to the team or the students on that call through the chat function, and instead ask us to liaise. We will be on that Zoom call because we will be facilitating those Zoom debates at the very latter stages if there's no time and there was a cancellation or the debate had to be pushed to the very last day of the league phase. Now, the child safeguarding do's and don'ts for in-person debates. Never be left alone with a student. If you are asked to go to a midway venue or to attend a debate at a school at 7 p.m., let's say in March, we ask that if you are in a classroom or in a hotel meeting space where the debate is taking place. Always ensure that you are in the room with more adults and make sure that the ratio of children per adult is appropriate. If you find yourself, you're writing some notes and you find yourself, you're in the classroom or in that hotel meeting space with one student by themselves, and you and them are the only people in that space, we ask that you ask the student to go out of the space and bring another student with them, or their teacher with them, or a parent with them. This way, for you to never be left alone with the student in that space on their own and on your own. Avoid situations that could be misinterpreted or lead to false allegations of child abuse. Offering lifts to children, no matter how miserable the weather would be outside, we offer you to never offer lifts to students or children from any event. And they would be in the care of their teachers or in the care of their parents or in the care of their schools, and they would be the responsibility of their carers, parents, and teachers, and not in the care of our adjudicators. We ask that you avoid showing favoritism to any individual student. If you feel that a certain school or team presented themselves better simply because they wore their blazers with their school crests, or it was a different type of approach to that debate, we ask you to always remember that the debates program is all about knowledge and the art of debating, the counter argument. It's not about how a specific team is presenting themselves at a specific debate. We ask that you interact with children in a respectful and appropriate manner, and we ask you to always report any known or suspected cases of child abuse to Concern and the appropriate forces, so the guards. If you feel that a child is in imminent danger at any time, we ask you to raise that with our designated liaison person and the guards at your immediate opportunity. We ask that you respect a child's right to privacy, to personal privacy by law, and behave in a way that sets a good example for children and everyone around. And we ask you to challenge inappropriate behavior amongst children, such as bullying, in case if you witness any actions or any bullying occasions at any venue that you are asked to attend, whether it's a workshop, whether it's a debate, doesn't matter what stages that debate is at. If you witness any children undergoing any type of bullying, we ask you to challenge that behavior and raise it with those children, that their behavior will be brought up to Concern's attention and also to their school's attention. How do you recognize harm? And I should have mentioned that there are going to be maybe some difficult informations mentioned during this call. What are the types of abuse and harm, and how do you recognize them? Child abuse can be categorized into 4 different types. It can be neglect, emotional, physical, and sexual. A child may be the subject of one or more forms of abuse at any given time. Abuse and neglect can occur within the family, in the community, or in an institutional setting. The abuser may be someone known to the child, or a stranger, and can be an adult or another child. In the situation where the abuse is alleged to have been carried out by another child, you should consider this as a child welfare and protection issue for both the children, and you should follow child protection procedures for both the victim and the alleged abuser. The important factor is in deciding whether the behavior is abuse or neglect is the impact of that behavior on the child rather than the intention of the parent or the carer. The definitions of neglect and abuse presented in this section are not legal definitions, and they are intended to describe ways in which a child might experience abuse and how this abuse may be recognized. For any safeguarding concerns, we always ask that our volunteers email safeguarding@concern.net or reach out to our designated liaison persons. We have 2 people in Concern that fill in that role, and it's Ms. Georgina Eastaw, georgina.eastaw@concern.net. The Georgina is the school's program manager, or now is the acting head of global citizenship. And we also have Miss Niamh Cooney, who is our safeguarding officer or advisor in Concern, and you can reach out to Niamh by emailing niamh.cooney@concern.net. And once again, we don't ask you to remember this information. if you are ever looking for the information to raise or flag a safeguarding concern with our designated liaison persons and or with the guards, if you feel there is imminent danger to that child, and you forgot the details and you forgot this recording or the location of this recording, we simply ask you to email debates@concern.net and request that information. You do not need to raise the concern with the debates team, as any safeguarding concerns or complaints will be dealt with in the most appropriate manner and will be dealt in such a discreet way that our team will not even be notified for confidentiality reasons. Now, complaints and issues, problems that are rare but may happen. You can find the debate video on the debates platform. Please don't panic. As I said earlier on the call, if you cannot find the debate that was assigned to you after you kindly agreed to adjudicate that debate and we emailed you with the details, don't assume that it's something you're doing. Simply think of it this way. We deal with technology and technology has glitches. So if you cannot find the debate that has been assigned to you on the debates platform, simply drop us an email or drop us a text on WhatsApp or on our work mobiles and let us know about this, and we will make sure that we send you the information or reassign that debate to you and fix the issue from our side. If you are watching a debate where both schools have the same side of the motion, this is extremely, extremely rare, but it can happen. Maybe once a year it happens, where the debates mentors might get the fixture sheets and they misread which side of the motion their team is on. And then you have two schools preparing the same side of the motion, and they can either be both proposing or both opposing the motion. And neither of the team is aware of that fact. So when they meet on that Zoom call and they hit record, they realize that they ended up with the same side of the motion by accident, as the information in the fixture sheet was misread, and it does happen on occasion. And if the teacher, so remember one thing, so any tech issues will be weaned out before the teachers hit the record button. So if you are watching a recording of a debate where two schools are proposing the same motion or two schools are both opposing the same motion, it means that the teachers have recognized or realized that they're on the same side of the motion, but unfortunately they were fully in the acknowledgement and in the agreement that they cannot reschedule that debate, and they still went ahead with that debate even if they were both on the same side of the motion. So we ask that you look at that debate and mark them on absolutely everything apart from rebuttal and refutation, because you can just leave that segment completely blank and mark the schools or the teams on every other segment apart from rebuttal and refutation, because they cannot refute or rebut something if they're on the same side of the argument. And then also just flag it with us that you have watched a debate where both teams were on the same side of the motion and you just flagged everything with us and just left the rebuttal refutation segment blank or empty. If a student made an offensive remark or acted inappropriately during a debate, please don't put that on the feedback sheet and instead drop us in the email with the results. You can just put a comment in the body of the email or even text us the information about it on our debates work mobiles. Make a note of that. Make a note of which student mentioned the inappropriate comment. We ask that you basically raise that issue with us so we can go back to the school or the debates mentor and just flag it with them and just advise them that, you know, inappropriate or offensive remarks will not be tolerated at their upcoming debates, and it's something to make sure that their teams are aware of. Because on occasion, a debates mentor might leave the room while the debate is in the process of being recorded, and they might have missed that inappropriate or offensive remark. If the audio is very bad and you cannot hear the debate, please make sure to turn up the volume on the platform app, which the platform is similar to a YouTube platform where it has a separate audio feed or lever where you can put it up to the top to 100 or to the bottom to 0, and also make sure that your device has the volume up to the maximum. And if you ever feel that you have had a bad experience as a volunteer in a school, at a midway venue, at an event that Concern organised, please don't accept it as the norm. This is never going to be a norm. If a parent or a disgruntled debates mentor made a comment that you feel was inappropriate towards you as a volunteer, we ask you to email us and let us know immediately about this, as we value our debates mentors and we value our debates volunteers. Without the debates volunteers, the program would not be in its 41st year. And we always make sure to flag this with the schools. Our volunteers are the bloodline of the debates program. The schools would not be in the position to partake in the debates program without our amazing volunteers. Now here you can see some feedback from our debaters over the years. I learned that not everyone has the same opportunities that we do, so we should use that what we have to the best of our abilities and try to make a positive impact on the world. Big changes cannot be made without small ones. We learned how to differentiate between reliable and unreliable sources. It made us think about the domino effect. One person can make a huge difference. Rebuttal and refutation is where our critical thinking came to life, and we didn't realize just how big the challenges were in other countries. We were a bit ignorant before. Now, how to register on the Concern Debates platform. This is the information only for brand new volunteers. For any of our existing volunteers that are adjudicating debates and not the first year, please remember you simply log on to www.debates.concern.net. This is the specially designated debates platform, and you can use the login or registered segment. So for any of our existing volunteers, you simply put in your email address and put in the password. If you forgot the password, you go through the forgot password route. For returning adjudicators, it's quite simple. And then you don't need to re-register each year. So your profile is already there. For new volunteers, in the login box, please fill in your email address and click on the purple continue button. The platform then will send you a security code that will be valid for about 10 minutes. You must fill in that numerical code into the platform and you will be brought to the registration page where you will need to fill in your name, email address, and set up a secure password. Now, the password for the debates platform must be a minimum of 12 symbols, and it has to include one special symbol, one lowercase, one uppercase, and a numerical symbol. So make sure that it's complicated enough but easy enough for you to remember. And we will inform any of our new volunteer adjudicators when to start registration process on the debates platform, and it will be in the second half of September or towards the end of September, as the actual debates will not start happening until the first week of October. So for any new volunteer, please don't rush to go to that link above and register. We will email you before the registrations are going to be accepted on the platform. Alternatively, select the click this link to confirm your account option in your email and you will be taken to the registration page. Click on the icon on the top right page, select profile. This will take you to the edit profile segment, and this again is for new volunteers, where there you can enter your password of a minimum of 12 symbols as stated above. Once registered, you only need to log in when the debates team inform you that the debate you agreed on to judge is ready to be viewed. Now, setting up the password. So this is just the little screenshots there. And please don't worry about taking notes and writing down any of this information. You can always revisit this recording and pause if you are not 100% sure of anything. Once you have agreed to the terms and conditions, click on the complete profile. You will be taken to your registration page. You then click on the icon at the top right corner and select profile. This will take you to the edit profile segment of the debates platform where you can enter your password. Once you have created the secure password, please click the purple button at the bottom that says save. The debates platform is quite intuitive and it won't save any information or details unless you click on the little purple buttons that say save and close or simply save or that state complete registration. Viewing the debates on the debates platform. So how will you see and what exactly will come up when you log on to the debates platform to view the debate? When you have kindly agreed to adjudicate a debate, the team will email you the details. So one of us will email you the details. And then once you say, yes, I'm available, Olga or Maeve or Owen or Amelia, you will then log on to the debates platform and you will view the debate. To view the debate, you have to log on and you will then see the debate in My Adjudicator assignments in judge registrations on the left side of the screen. Now, when you click on My Adjudicator Assignments, you will see the debates that have been assigned to your name. And please remember, you might see occasionally you've only agreed to do one debate or adjudicate one debate, but you will see two segments assigned to your name. This simply means that that debate was recorded in two takes or in two segments because the school did not have a professional Zoom account, so they had to record it in two smaller segments. So we will assign and allocate both those segments to your name on the platform, and you will be able to see it there. Now, viewing the debate. Click on the school name when you see the debate details and the video available to view. And each video will be about 45 to 50 minutes in length unless the debate was recorded in two segments. And then you simply click on the play button in the middle of the video to watch the debate. It will feel like watching a debate on a platform like Vimeo or YouTube, where you can maximize that little window to make it full screen. If you are interested in adjudicating the concerned primary debates, so the primary debates, not all of our post-primary debates volunteers also act as adjudicators for the primary program. The primary program is actually outgrown the post-primary debates program. We had over 240 primary schools that took part in the program last year across the Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland. Once again, it's a program that includes both schools in Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland. And our colleague Ruth Lynon looks after the primary debates in Republic of Ireland, and Amelia Deehan looks after the primary debates in Northern Ireland. If you are interested to watch the debates or adjudicate debates for primary debates, always remember that they are much shorter in time. So on the primary debates teams, you will have three students per team, and their speeches will be shorter as well. And they are organised in conjunction with the education support centres across the Republic of Ireland. And if you are agreeing to adjudicate primary debates program, they will run live on Zoom or Microsoft Teams or any other video platform or conferencing video platforms, and you will be asked to log on and watch the debate live on the call and offer the feedback at the end of the debate. It is absolutely incredible, and you can see amazing students between the ages of 11 and 13 be such amazing speakers and debaters. And at times, primary debate students would definitely win in a debate with post-primary debate students. So if you are interested, you can always email primarydebates@concern.net, or if you forget this email, you simply email debates@concern.net and express your interest to support the primary debates program as well. If you ever have any questions at all, you can always email us and drop us an email to debates@concern.net. You can also follow us on Twitter. We are @concerndebates. On Instagram, we are @concernactive. And this is it. If you ever have any questions at all, please drop us an email or a text. You can always reach us on our work mobiles that were also on the first slide in this presentation video. And you can always contact us via WhatsApp or Viber as well, if this makes it easier for you. We look forward to working with you for another amazing debates year, and we look forward to starting those debates recordings and starting the allocation of the debates. And for any of our volunteers that are in the process of getting their Garda vetting processed, please remember we will be in touch with you in the coming weeks to process the details and get to meet with you or arrange a date and a venue that works for you to meet with you and validate your IDs and then get your vetting application underway. Thank you so much to you all, and have a fantastic debate year ahead.